What's an unfun fact? During WW1, the British intelligence service created a propaganda campaign that said the Germans were boiling their dead to extract fat and produce nitroglycerine to replenish their dwindling supply. This lie was exposed after the war, and there was a considerable amount of public outrage when similar reports came back of the atrocities that the Nazis were committing during WW2. Most people dismissed them because of the boy who cried wolf situation 20 years earlier and really damaged the public opinion of the war, which no one wanted to repeat in the first place. Parvovirus can infect dogs and cats at any particular age and kill them pretty efficiently. It's especially good at doing this with puppies. There's no cure and no antiviral, just boosters and hydration. Fourth, you can give them when a dog comes home healthy from the recovery from a parvo infection. They're contagious for 2 weeks, and if they pee, poop or vomit anywhere at all, including dog parks, that freaking virus is able to survive for up to a year, including in 100+ degree weather. Parvovirus sucks. Around 1.5 million people die from TB annually, which is a disease consistently treatable by antibiotics in almost all cases. Fatal familial insomnia exists. It's a rare, incurable prionic brain disease that progressively destroys your brain's ability to sleep. Eventually you stop sleeping altogether, go insane, have seizures, and die. Brush-tail possums are coprophagic, eat their own shit. They need their food to go through their digestive system twice to get all the nutrients. They are nocturnal, so spend the night eating eucalyptus and other plant leaves and flowers. During the day, they curl up into a little ball with their mouths closed to their bums and eat the soft poo as it comes out in. Then while they're out at night, they poo out hard, long pellets of poo, having absorbed all the nutrients. There is a penguin species with 6 practices that were so disturbing that the person studying it almost didn't publish his findings. It involved a lot of rape, necrophilia and pedophilia. Depends on what you find as fun, but King Henry VIII exploded in his coffin while the grave was being dug. The mess was cleared up by stray dogs. Only 1 in every 1,000 sea turtles born ever make it to adulthood. To add to this, saving baby turtles at the beach does less, almost nothing, for conservation compared to protecting adult turtles in the ocean. Dead people can get goosebumps. How? I'm not smart, so this is copied from Google. After a person dies, the chemical adenosine triphosphate, which provides the energy to cells, depletes, and lactate builds up in the muscles. This process causes the muscles to stiffen, thereby triggering rigor mortis. As part of rigor mortis, the erector pili muscles also stiffen, giving rise to goosebumps. Pretty HLLG. There's a planet where it rains molten glass horizontally at 5,400 miles per hour or 8,700 kmh. The first responder to die in 911 was killed by someone jumping out of the building and landing on them. The youngest person to ever give birth was a Peruvian girl, Lina Medina, a Quechua Indian who gave birth to a child in 1939 at age 5. She had precocious puberty and had her first period at age 8 months. She may have been raped at a debauched indigenous religious festival where people often brought small children and rapes were known to occur. The man who raped her was never found, and she was silent about how she got pregnant. The delivery was by cesarean as vaginal delivery was deemed impossible. Her son was told that he was her little brother, and she also treated him in this manner. Obviously, she was an incompetent parent, preferring to play with dolls rather than tend to the baby, but that's to be expected. The case is well documented in medical journals, including photos of her pregnant body. It is also in the Guinness Book. She later married, had another son, went to work for the physician who delivered her, and lived a quite normal life. The son was healthy, but died young at age 40. She and her family both refused all requests to speak of the case, including offers of significant sums of money. As of 2008, she was still alive at age 75 and living in a slum in Lima, Peru. If she is still alive, she would be 87 years old. Male cats have spines on their penises that rake the walls of a female's vagina to trigger ovulation and to hold the female in place while mating. The female tarantula hawk wasp stings a tarantula between the legs, paralyzes it, then drags the prey to a specially prepared burrow, where a single egg is laid on the spider's abdomen, and the entrance is covered. Sex of the larvae is determined by fertilization. Fertilized eggs produce females, while unfertilized eggs produce males. When the wasp larva hatches, it creates a small hole in the spider's abdomen, then enters and feeds voraciously, avoiding vital organs for as long as possible to keep the spider alive. After several weeks, the larva pupates. Finally, the wasp becomes an adult and emerges from the spider's abdomen to continue the life cycle. Touching an AM radio broadcast tower will kill you, and not only will it kill you, but it will hurt the entire time you're dying. Number 1. The voltage is so high that your hands would instantly clamp to whatever charged part of the tower you touched. Then because it's oscillating at a frequency your cells can't feel, you wouldn't be able to feel yourself being electrocuted until it starts to heat your body from the current. And you'd also be able to hear your body acting as a speaker, where you'd literally be able to hear whatever was on that particular station as you die. Here's an example of the sheer power running through one of these things. Link b/uo9zisp. Edit. Since people asked, touching an FM broadcast tower won't have nearly the same effect. The tower is hundreds of feet high, and unlike AM radio where the tower itself is the antenna, the actual antenna is only about 20 to 30 feet long at the very top. Also, FM radio uses a lot lower power, only usually 100 to 1000 watts, compared to AM radio where usually 1000 to 50,000 watts are used. So unless you climb all the way to the top of the tower, there's no danger of any burns. Also, in regard to 5G, as stated previously, AM radio uses an incredible amount of power. 5G uses so much less power, on the order of 1 to 15 watts. Also, radio waves are considered non-ionizing radiation, meaning the only danger with them is a small heating effect at higher frequencies, kinda like a microwave. But also keep in mind that your microwave uses 1500 watts. This is because the wavelength of these radio waves is literally too big to interact with your cells in any way. There's no danger whatsoever here. The power depicted in that video comes from the electricity flowing through the tower, not the radio waves themselves. People who handle cockroaches develop allergies to them. This usually prevents them from drinking pre-ground coffee because of the cockroaches that get grounded in with the large batches. When a male bee drone ejaculates, its testicles explode and the drone dies. It is literally a one-shot wonder. This is also a drone bee's only job. The males are literally slaves only used for breeding. And when autumn comes and the hive hibernates, all the drones are forced out of the hive to die in the cold. Sea otters kill and rape baby seals. Not always in that order. Seagulls are also known to eat baby seals' eyeballs. Penguins practice prostitution. They trade shiny rocks for sexual favors. Whales don't die of old age. Eventually they just don't have the strength to resurface and slowly drown. Squirrels will eat baby birds and horses will eat baby chicks if given the chance. Pandas will eat mice and other small animals on a regular basis. Most, if not almost all, species of animals will eat other animals for a multitude of reasons. Tapeworms can grow up to 32 feet inside of you, and they eat half of what you eat. Dolphins in captivity usually commit suicide by suffocating themselves. Famous example, Flipper. It gets worse, they do this by consciously deciding to not breathe until they die. It's less pressing a pillow against your own face, and more holding your breath so hard it kills you, and you are awake and aware the entire time. Scuba divers can experience a sudden change in pressure when swimming near pipes and will get sucked inside. Doesn't matter the size of the hole. It's called delta P. Worst part? Someone else usually has to go inside the pipe to remove the body. Every unborn baby grows a mustache in the womb, which then spreads to cover the entire body. The baby then eats the entire hair called lanugo, and excretes it after birth with their first bowel movement, which is a substance called meconium. When preparing a body for an open casket, the mortician will sew the person's jaw shut to keep their mouth from flopping open, and place special contact lenses on the eyes lined with hooks. both to keep the eyelid from snapping open due to shrinking tissues, and to give the eye a bit more natural bulge, as the eye tends to sink into the socket after death. You may have heard that South Koreans have a superstition called fan death, where if you keep a fan on too long it will kill you. The history of its origins is much darker. When people committed suicide and the coroner had to determine cause of death, they would say it was death by fan. This is to save the face of the family and not cause them shame. It eventually became a superstition, and one that Westerners find funny. Female ducks get raped so frequently that they have a second decoy vagina that they can offer to intruders, so they don't get pregnant by the duck they don't want to get pregnant by. Edit. Holy shit. This blew up. Thank God it was about duck pussies. Wouldn't have wanted to waste it on something stupid. There could be some planets swimming in the deep space without suns and even without galaxies, and you can't even see stars from their surface. Absolute darkness. And Frank's diary had details of masturbation in it, yet it was taken out by her father before publishing until recently. When the gas chambers were first assembled and experimented with at the Auschwitz concentration camp, the SS soldiers that oversaw the process found that the people inside would start screaming as soon as the gas agent was dropped in. The screaming was so loud that it could be heard through the thick walls of the building, and the victims would continue screaming over the course of 20 minutes until it gradually faded to nothing. The screaming disturbed the soldiers, believe it or not, so they tried to think of a way to drown out the noise so they didn't have to hear it. Their idea was to get 2 motorcycles and rev the engines as loudly as they could at the same time during those 20 minutes. It didn't work. There is a whale called 52 Blue that only sings at that frequency, meaning it can't communicate with other whales. It is nicknamed the loneliest whale on the planet. Cockroaches stab their mates with their barbed insect dicks and come in the lady cockroach wound. The most common last words that are said before dying is typically something doesn't feel right or something is wrong, of course, followed by a severe heart attack / stroke / whatever. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Apostrophe. Most animals will kill you before eating you. Bears just start eating you. One day the last person who knows your name will die and you will be forgotten. You could still be alive when this happens. You have a higher chance of dying on the way to get a lottery ticket than actually winning. Piper Perry, the girl on the couch with 5 black guys behind her meme, came home from a shoot one night to find that her boyfriend had shaken her toddler to death. Child Helpline's most busy day is Christmas Eve, because parents get drunk and whatnot. It's so sad to think about. Please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.